Alright, hey guys, we are picking up where we left off, and we're going to be adding a static body 2D. I'm remaking a couple of these videos because the cursor wasn't showing up. Here it is, and here we go. So let's see what we have. First off, we have our paddle, and it can move left and right, and it only moves left and right because we coded it that way. We can take a look at the code. We took out these 4 lines, commented them out, and so the computer skips over them up and down, and it just only lets it move left and right. For this video, we're going to unlock this so we can move around the screen all the way. I'm also going to turn this UI underscore down and UI underscore up back on. Okay. So now when we play it, we can go left and right, up and down. Okay, I gotta add the buttons for that too. So let's do that as well. I'm gonna go to project settings, and then input map. I'm gonna go to up, and it's right here, and I'm gonna add another key. I'm gonna push the W key for WASD, and then for the down one, I'm going to add the S key for down. Alright, now let's play it again, and WASD now moves it around. Cool. Okay, let's get started on this. We already kind of started, but okay, so I'm going to walk you through a couple of these buttons here at the top, and then we are going to get started with adding a static body 2D. So the first button, as you'll notice, is select mode. There it is up in the top. This allows you to select something. It allows you to click on it, and if you have more than one thing on the world, you can use this little select mode guy here and select that one. Now you're selected on it, and then this one you're selected on that. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, but sometimes it eludes me because I want to grab something, and I'll have the move icon selected and I won't be able to select it, and it'll take me 2 or 3 times to figure out why I wasn't able to grab it. Okay, so now moving on to the move icon. If you are selected on something and you click anywhere with the move icon, it will move that object. Now if I try to click on this guy and move him, I'm not selected on him, I'm selected on the other one. I think if I click right in the middle, nope. See, it won't even, not even if I click in the middle. So if I want to switch from this one to that one, I need to go to my selector, click it, and then do the move. There's some hotkeys here too. Q and W. 2 keys are right next to each other. Q to select, W to move. It's Q to select, W to move. If you have the selector, a lot of times the selector can move as well if you click and hold, but using the move icon is useful, so know that that is an option and it is useful. The next button is the rotate mode. This is not one I use as much, but it works. So first off, I'm going to pick which one of these guys I want to rotate with my selector. Then I'm going to go to the rotate, which is the hotkey for that one is E. Now I can select literally anywhere, and it's going to draw this little blue line, and I'm holding the button down. I'm holding the mouse key down, and you can see that I am rotating this whole picture left and right, and if I let go, it stops rotating it, and if I click again, it'll rotate some more. Okay, next button, scaling. You know what, I'm going to skip that one. I'm going to go to this button here. I'm supposed to be able to click it, but it doesn't want to let me do it. Okay, so here we go. This one. This is the change objects pivot point. So I had to select to get to this. It didn't want to let me use the main node to grab it. It looks like I had to grab the sprite, which is this picture. And now I'm on the rotate pivot. If you look right in the middle of his face, he's got a little dot. That's the pivot point. So if I move the pivot point to the top right there, and then go back to my rotate, which is E, now it rotates around that point. For whatever reason, this thing's not wanting to rotate both of them together, but it can do that. I don't know why it's not wanting to do. I'm using Control Z to go back right now. I'm going to wait till I get it right back, that pivot point back on his face, right in the middle. And where's that pivot point? It doesn't, it's stuck. I don't know why that is. Let's see if I can grab it and move it. Just put it in the middle of his face. There we go. Okay. So right now the shape is unlocked. Yeah, see, I'm gonna save this, Control S, I'm gonna close it, and I'm gonna reopen it, because I know you can select in a different spot. So let's see if this is no, this is my wrong game. Try it again. Sorry. Breakout. Here we go. Let's see if I can move that. Still doesn't want to let me do it there. I know it can be done. Okay, anyway, we'll deal with that later. So I'm going to select the sprite. Now, if I wanted to rotate it on this axis, I can move it by moving the rotate button. So back to this rotate. I've got it there. Now when I click rotate, it rotates that picture around that. Or I could move this rotate pivot point way out here and then rotate it from way around there. So you can move the pivot point and rotate, and it's useful in some ways. Okay, so I'm going back with Control Z, and I'm going to go ahead and put the pivot point back in the center by clicking pivot, and I'm going to lock these guys back together with my child safety locks, which is in between the bone and the lock. Okay, and that's one of the buttons we'll talk about some more. Okay, then we have this button, which is our scaling button, scale mode. It creates a red and a green little box here, and if you grab the green one, it will stretch vertically. If you grab the red one, it will stretch horizontally. You can also click in this anywhere on him and it will scale, or off of him. See that? So if I'm going up, it's doing this, and then left, it's going horizontal. The green and red, they'll make it where it only goes horizontal. See how I'm going, or vertical or horizontal? See, I grabbed the horizontal or the vertical one, the green one. I grabbed the green square, and I can't stretch it horizontally, but I can go up and I can go vertically. And the same thing with the red one. I can go horizontally, but I cannot go vertical. If you click anywhere on it, you can do both, and that will throw you off sometimes, so be careful with that. Alright, next button is show a list of all objects at a position. Sometimes in this game maker, or in this game, or whatever, game creation engine, you'll have a bunch of things. See, I just used Control D, and copied that over and over. And now I have a bunch of these guys stacked onto one place, and I may not know it. So I can use this and put my mouse over it, and it's going to show me exactly how many and which numbers are there and what their names are. So if I hover over this one, there's just one paddle, but this one has like 8 or 9 paddles. I'm going to get rid of all these. So right, I just selected them, delete, now I got rid of them. Okay, the next button is the pivot point, and then we're going to skip that pan mode. What that does is it grabs the background and moves the background around just in case. You can also accomplish that by using these little bars here on the side, left and right. Okay. And the next one is this magnet here. Use snapping. So if I click this, you'll see it turns blue, a grid shows up, and now when I move my characters around, they kind of snap to the left and right. See, they're kind of moving around, and they're easier to line up, because with it off, you can move it in any position. But with it on snapping, it snaps to like a grid. And we can make that grid larger and smaller by going to these 3 dots, going to Configure Snap. My mouse is clicking twice for no reason. And if I change this to, let's say, something bigger, this is the pixel width. If I do something like 100 by 100, you're going to see a big difference in how it snaps. So I'm going to do close. Now if I move this, you can see those big jumps it's making big jumps, because it's snapping to a big 100 by 100 grid. I can turn the grid on by going to Show Grid or pushing G. So there's the grid, and you can see it's snapping to parts of the grid. Looks like it's snapping to like the middle and a partial way through. I still don't fully understand the grid. I kind of know how it works, but this is useful for getting things put in certain places. So I would like it to stay on the center of like that one's in the center of that square. That makes sense to me. But then if I try to move over it, it'll jump, and then I can't get it to go exactly where I want. So I'm sure that's something I'm doing wrong. But anyway, that's how the grid snapping works. I'm going to turn that off. And we have the child locks and a couple other things. That's all I'm going to go over with for you for right now. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a static body, and then we're going to close this video out. I'm going to click level 1, and I'm going to add another body. I'm going to the static body, S-T-A-T, and I'm searching up here at the top, static body 2D. And I'm going to add a sprite, which is a picture, and you see how it added it to the static body. That's why it's moved over just a little bit. Now I am going to give this static or this sprite a picture so something appears. I'm going to grab this icon, that's all I have for right now, and I'm going to drop it into the texture box. There it is. Now it needs some collision. I am going to click the plus sign again, and I'm going to go to collision, C-O-L-L. There it is, collision shape 2D. I'm going to hit create, and now I'm going to add a new shape, a 2D rectangle, and you're going to see it appears right on his face. I am going to stretch the edges to make it where it matches the box that he has. Just like that. And I'm going to lock them both together with the child safety locks right next to the lock, not the lock in between the bone and that. And now I'm also going to rename this to wall. So that's one of my wall pieces, and I don't want my walls to look exactly like my character, so I'm gonna come over here to visibility, and I'm going to select modulate. Now I'm going to use one of the really dark colors, which is like one of the very bottom ones, so it actually blacks it all the way out. So there we go, it's all the way black. I'm going to pull this wall piece into the center of the room, and I'm going to see if I can bump into it, and I'm going to hit play, which saves my stuff, and here we go. We can bump into this object on all sides, so it's working, and that's all we needed to do for this video. Hopefully you learned some of those buttons, and hopefully you got your first little wall object added into the world. You can use that scaling button to stretch it and make it fit to the outer edges of your walls if you would like. The viewport is here, the blue box, and you could stretch those walls and fill up the outer edge. And so you can do that, and then Control D copies them. So now I have two walls, and you could do a ceiling with rotate. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next video.